I think it's working now.
Yeah, yeah. How are you, man?
Good, man. Good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Happy to be over with the day and the week.
I understand that feeling. I understand that feeling.
How's things? What did you work today or?
Nah, nah, day off today. So my weekend is like Friday, Saturday. So I'm pretty good. Can't complain. Enjoyed that. Drove up to Brisbane today, trained with Jaden at Riggs Gym. Finally checked that out, and that's I gotta say, honestly, one of the best gyms I've been to.
And I've heard real good things say it's I think I'll probably try and do a session up there for the qualifiers. I think we've
Yeah.
got 3 days before it, and I'll probably do a session there. So
I reckon it's worth it. Like I've been to, I don't know if you've been to, but Sam's Gym, Iron Asylum, in like I think it's
I
like
haven't been there, but I've seen it all over social
yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Um, I've been there a few times and that's really, really good too. It's just like, that private, real bodybuilding feeling, some of the best equipment, handpicked, and Scottish gym rigs, same type of vibe. Just like it's just located in Brisbane. So yeah, I definitely recommend checking it out while you're up there.
Yeah, yeah, that's epic. Hey, there needs to be more, locally owned gyms like that instead of the big corporate ones.
Yeah, 100%.
There's some cool equipment and all the imported American stuff and European stuff's pretty dope.
Yeah. No, it's just it sucks. Like I feel like a lot recently too, the past couple of years, a lot of commercial gyms have just opted to like this one brand, cheap brand, where it's like they can just buy a bulk of equipment really cheap and they've just get it, but they're all shit. Like they just don't feel good, like classic Cybex pieces or Nautilus or any of the American stuff.
Yeah, no, this is pretty young stuff. Yeah, I don't know what it is. Hey, I don't know whether it's a part of the import or who knows. Like I said, it's probably a supply demand and cheaper to buy the
Yeah.
and the strength life fitness stuff than it is to buy all the other stuff. So
Well, there's a guy I know up in Mackay, and he's opening up a gym there. And I was talking to him and someone else that goes to my current gym that's visited him, and they were saying like to get all the equipment, he had to ship them all from America and that, and some from the UK. And like you got to buy them and you got to do the exchange rate, but then you got to pay for like the shipping, and they'll come on a boat, and so then
yeah,
you're paying for that, and then docking fee, all that shit. It just gets like way too expensive when you add it up.
yeah, I do a fair bit of importation with my business,
Yeah.
and yeah, import tax is fucking ridiculous, man. Like the government don't miss you, bro.
Take your money when they can.
100%. Yeah, yeah, they seem to think you don't pay them enough, but fuck, man, they find one way or another, find another way just to
Yeah.
take a little bit more penny out of your pocket. But
Just sad, but hey, I guess, as they say, money makes the world go around.
yeah, yeah, so they say.
Well, we'll get to it. Just kind of wanted to have a chat about just, how this is part of my like season A prep series. So just kind of see how your prep's going and where you're at and how you're feeling. Because one of the reasons why I wanted to get you on, man, like I gotta say, like I'll fucking get it up right now, just for anyone that hasn't seen you. I've shared you 1,000 times, so everyone should see you by now. But man, you're a weapon. I'll tell you what, for a men's physique athlete, like, you posted to your story. Hey, it's you're back. Yeah, that's nutty. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, no, thanks, man. Yeah, it's cool. It's cool.
One of my first questions before we kind of get into everything that's been happening with prep is like, have you considered doing classic or anything like that? Like moving up?
Yeah. So I'm actually at a point with classic where I don't make the weight cut unless I lose muscle tissue.
Okay.
I haven't spent enough time. So last year, my plan was to develop a legs, go up
Yeah.
in the classic, and do that debut there. But I had a little bit of a hip injury, which sort of
Okay.
neglected it
Set
a
you
little.
back a bit.
Yeah, neglected it a little bit. I've always loved training legs. I've always loved lower body. I've always loved like a full package. But I also love the men's physique style. I also love a little more of a lifestyle of it. Like I find the bodybuilding, obviously, the assistance and all that sort of stuff, and like the health side of
Yeah,
things
yeah.
is a little bit more on the side of the fence. So I find men's physique, I can taper that down a little bit more to suit me personally.
Yeah.
Classic, I would happily jump into, but I just yeah, like I haven't got the wheels for it as of yet. I will probably spend off season next year or after April develop him up a little bit. But then same thing goes. Like I won't make the weight cap regardless. Like right now I'm about 90, just shy of 98 kilos now, so in the 97s.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure my weight cap's like 89 kilos. So
Yeah, nah, no way you're gonna make that.
yeah, it's a hard one, mate. You know, you're always fatter than you think you are. A lot of people think like, oh, I'm fucking 3 kilos away from stage weight. No, bro, you're like
Yeah.
7. You know what I mean? So I'm not saying that I wouldn't be under 90, but if I was to compete mentally this year and then take 12 months off and grow legs, I would be no chance I'd make
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
with the hope that I still do develop my upper and put 3 to 5 kg on my lower.
Yeah.
So would make sense to me to even attempt it. Yeah, I love classic. I love the division. I love everything about it. It's just a shame. I think it's hard, but I obviously understand why they have the weight cap where it is. But I'd love to see a little bit more, like in every height class, maybe like 2 or 3 kilos somewhere.
Well, it's just like the thing of, it's I don't know if I agree with it. When it comes down to it, like, why is it, you know, you you kind of want to get your pro card and you either want to be good enough where, you don't need to take even more time off before you get on this pro stage. So like, why not make the weight limit what it is as a pro?
Yeah, I think so.
It's debatable questions. It's interesting, whether that may change in the future. I think it would be advantage, I think a lot more people may do the division two if that weight limit wasn't there either.
100%.
Would you, however, I guess, let's say you didn't win your pro card and you got to come back and you got to grow a bit more and you get some wheels like you wanted to, would you just for shits and gigs do like the open class just to kind of see how you stack up with those bigger boys? Because like you have, like I said, like, and I show you, you have a good upper body, you have a back. It's not like you're missing maybe
Yeah,
from the front a bit or something like that. But I don't think you would be at the bottom of the barrel if you grew some legs.
yeah. I definitely would. Like, if I was there and I was competitive, like I don't want to compete not to be competitive.
Yeah,
But yeah, it would just really depend on the time. Like like I think my heart is always immense physique, and until I do very well in that division,
yeah,
I won't shy away from that unless like a judge or someone says like you aren't built for this division,
yeah,
set your sight somewhere else. And if that's bodybuilding, then it is what it is. Otherwise, like prime example, Joe Brighton, one of the UK boys, he same scenario. He was too heavy for the amateur weight cap, so he actually won his pro card in men's physique and then went straight up to
the
classic
classic, yeah,
because of the weight cap. So that was like where my head would be at. I would still do a pro show if I ever went pro,
yeah.
men's physique. But then I would obviously put a little bit more effort into my wheels and yeah, bring them up, progress them
Because
up.
I'm pretty sure you can always, let's say, if you do, you get your pro card, you bring your wheels up, you can always do a pro show as a classic and go, you know what, I did enjoy this. I'm going to keep growing. You know what, I didn't enjoy this. I prefer the men's, and then just put the shorts back on. So
Yeah,
not like where you kind of jumping all the way to open and then you're putting on all this size and then needing to take it all off again. So
yeah,
you got room to work around it.
yeah. It's also the hard thing too. Like I don't think people realize like, how fucking big men's physique boys are.
They're
Like,
huge at the moment.
man, like it's actually scary. Like, most of them, arguably would be able to take their shorts off and beat most of the boys in bodybuilding. But like,
Yeah.
no one wants to admit that because we're bikini boys. Like it's
Yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
it's a hard thing, mate. I'm not saying I'm one of them people. Like I'm nowhere near at that level yet, but I think one of the boys I competed against last year, he was 102 on stage and fucking peeled. You know what I mean? Like
That's big.
it's a heavyweight, but it's yeah. So I don't know. I think it's just whatever division suits the physique. I think my waist being quite tight, quite small, suits the classic or it's just any division really.
Yeah.
But I think men's physique, the wider I can bring my shoulders, the more of a taper I have, the more it's going to sort of suit in that situation.
Yeah.
It's just going to come down to a point of me because I'm quite short. I'm only 175 centimeters. So it's sort of, I'm at a point now where I feel I'm almost at my, not like you've always got room to grow, but I almost feel like I'm almost at my capacity for for my weight, for my height. So that
Yeah,
obviously
yeah.
a bit, you know what I mean? Like I'm not too like, yeah, you know what I'm
I
trying
know
to
what you
say.
mean. I was talking to Jaden about this today, actually, and with like, because we're talking about how, him and myself, we're kind of, well, he already knows, and I'm kind of noticing scale weight's not really moving, but, I'm still growing. And I think that has to do with my height because I'm, so tall that scale weight and weight doesn't necessarily reflect what my body can do because of the height. Where someone a lot shorter, you your weight may be a lot heavier and you will look big because you're really growing out of that small frame.
Yeah.
So I get what you're trying to say.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I'm sort of, yeah, I'm in a hard situation, but I love what I do. So this sort of like, I don't know, diet for sure, lemons to eat.
Yeah,
I would be happy. I think I'll be about 90 on stage this year.
it's good.
Probably 90, 92, which is, 8 to 10 kilos heavier than my last show. So,
The progression's there, so that's all that's really matters at the end of the day.
yeah, yeah, it should be good. So I'm excited. I'm very excited after my last showing. It wasn't my best. So I'm,
Mm. Beat that this time around.
man, oh, it's a redemption for sure on myself.
Oh yeah, that's
It's,
awesome. That's exciting to hear.
it's going to be a cool feeling.
Definitely. So let's kind of, I guess, before we get to the current prep, let's just backtrack. When was your last showing?
So my last show was March 25th last year. So Sydney.
Yep. So you did season A last year as well. Yeah.
I did Sydney, New South Wales. So I was originally prepping for Queensland, and then with work, I got super flooded to the point where the date then became unavailable to compete for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I then had to actually fast track forward 2 weeks to the Sydney show, which then actually only gave me a 9 week prep. So
Ah, that's short as.
it, man, it fucking made me. I lost what 21 kilos in 9 weeks.
Wow.
It wasn't, yeah, it wasn't pretty, man. It was look, we were on the money to be my best, but then we just,
Yeah, having to do New South Wales kind of threw everything all off.
yeah, it was like shooting the dart with a blindfold on.
Yeah.
I think the longer the prep, the more data collected. You're trying to respond the best to everything you're doing in your body. So at the point in time of a 9 week prep, it was sort of like everything in,
Mm.
everything out. I was doing 75 minutes of cardio for 3 weeks straight. I was doing 1,100 calories for 14 days.
Oh my God.
Um, at the point in time, I was like coming to the show, I was so depleted where my body wouldn't just store carb. It was
Yeah.
just chewing. And I think my old coach that I had at the time, he thought it was probably a better idea to not carb up as such, which yeah, don't.
Yeah.
So he thought that because I was such a under responsive and we didn't know that enough data, it would be better to essentially not put anything in that we're not used to, which I thought was a bit strange at the time, but obviously you back your coach and you go with it.
Yeah.
So we just come in super flat and like we were just, oh man, like I looked like a swimmer, like nothing against anyone like that, but I was fuck man, like I just wanted to throw the towel. I was so emotional. I remember sitting in the theater actually while bodybuilding was on, and I felt like I had just come out of like a cold river or an ice bath. I was super flat and soft and just nothing to give. And I was looking at my partner, just literally just emotional, like I can't do it. Like why am I hopping up there?
Yeah.
And I literally remember saying to her, I'm going to embarrass myself. And that was just, yeah, part and parcel. Obviously, we were there, we'd done it. And I still got third, but it was just, it was a very disappointing time. Obviously 9 weeks isn't a long time, but I busted my guts for
I
that.
think, and I think, to that, like, regardless of getting third, even if you got first, I feel like it may not have had the same impact of, if you were able to bring the physique that you wanted to bring and you felt much better about what you were, presenting to everybody, that would have made the placing of that so much better. But because you like you're saying, everything was all over the place. You felt like shit. You didn't feel happy with what you're presenting. It didn't
Yeah,
really matter what you were going to get. It just wouldn't have been the same.
yeah. It was disappointing, man. Like, I have a lot of backing from friends, family, and like everyone on social media. Like, oh, they're always in your ear, always telling you to do better than what they're always going to tell you you're going to win. And
Yeah.
I was always in my head. And then we woke up the morning of the show, and it was just like, yeah, like I literally cried. It was pretty bad. And it was just to the point where I was just, it was out of control. We couldn't carb up, on the day because then you're bloated and you're full. And so, yeah, but I blame myself through and through for that one, for 9 weeks of prep. I would advise no one to do that, especially because I had so much weight to come off.
Mm.
I tend to full send my off seasons. But yeah, no. So this time around, got just over 20 weeks. So we're well on track, well ahead of time as well, which is great. Yeah.
So definitely a lot more prepared this time around.
Oh mate, like all the tools in the toolbox, and haven't even used the tool yet. So we've got heaps of time, man.
That's awesome. So how did, I guess, what was the timeline between, I guess, you finished your last show and whenever you started your off season, that when did you do your this current off season before prepping with Jake as well, your current coach?
Yeah. So at the moment, I'm with Jake Campus,
Yeah.
but I've always sort of done all my off seasons by myself, just because I tend to, like, I'm a foodie through and through, like most bodybuilders. So I usually like find myself, if I'm trying too hard to restrict myself out of the show, um, the food relationships there are pretty
Yeah.
bad. So like my first show, I put 15 kilos on in 2 weeks. Like that's how much
Oh,
it was, man. Like, so yeah, it's
oh my
pretty bad.
God.
I tend to sort of like hop out, chill out, and just try and flex flexible diet as best as I can, and just enjoy some time. I also have the mentality. Obviously, we know that surplus is surplus, and it doesn't have to be massive. But I also have the sort of the mindset of like the more energy, the more fuel, the more fuel to push weight to be stronger.
Yeah.
And we know the stronger you're getting, the more muscle tissue you're developing. So I always like to, try and get really fucking strong in my off season. So that is my plan. I want to throw big weights around, and that's just who I am. I love eating big food. I love throwing big weights around. I love big sessions. You know what I mean? So
What, but also, sorry, keep going.
oh yeah, so as long as I'm happy in my off season, I'm like just super cruisy. I put on some fat tissue there and there, but it's I'm a very hyper responder to putting on fat really easy because I eat like an idiot. But
Yeah.
I'm also a hyper responder to dropping a lot of body fat very fast. So it's a sort of it's a win-win, but it's also not a win-win as well. So
Yeah. But at least you don't have to worry about, I guess, because being hyper responsive like that, you can lose the weight. That at the end of the day, you just got to give yourself a longer time period to prep for. And you have the dedication to do that. So, if you would get the most enjoyment, I think there's nothing wrong with getting a bit fat. And, if you enjoy, like you're saying, lifting heavy weight, throwing it around. And I agree, like if you're doing that, you're getting stronger, you're progressing, you're building muscle. And obviously it's paid off because, like, look at how well what the physique you've built. So I think there's no harm in that type of mentality whatsoever. It's just about, picking and choosing. I think some people tend to do something like that, put on too much fat in the off season, then they come to dieting and then they complain they have to do a 21, 24 week prep. It's like if you enjoy doing that in your off season, don't complain about doing a 21, 24 week prep. That's just what has to happen.
yeah, I love both processes, man. Like, I love prep, I love routine. I love being regimented. I love the feeling of dieting. I love that. I'm fucked feeling.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. So, but I also, love mum's roast cooked dinner.
Yeah.
I love catching up with friends and just having a good time, man. So it's
It's important. It's a good balance.
yeah. As long as my mental state stays intact with the body fat, obviously everyone suffers with post-show blues with on body fat. It's just I think I'm mentally strong enough to, warrants my stupid eating. Yeah, you know what I mean. Like, I'm
Yeah,
happy.
yeah, yeah.
I make myself accountable for that, and I make myself known that I'm going to put body fat on, and I make myself known that I won't stay in this condition forever. So
That's right. It's
yeah,
important.
yeah. So
I guess so. Next question is kind of what's been the biggest, I was gonna say, things that are different or things that stood out that whether they've been a bit easier or they've been a bit harder that you're doing currently with Jake in this prep compared to last prep. Like I understand last prep did not kind of end up going the way that you wanted it to.
yeah,
But I guess maybe when that prep was on track, like is there anything that you kind of noticed from the two different coaches and how things are moving now? Like any improvements?
yeah, yeah. Oh, mate, massive differences. Like I actually done a prep with my old coach Ross, the year before for
Okay.
season B, but COVID shut that one down.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and like massive differences between Jake and Ross. I don't. I find it very hard talking about my old coach because I actually really like the guy.
Yeah.
He's not bad terms, but I always feel like every time I speak about it, it's always negative. It wasn't by any means. I just feel like the Europe scene or the UK scene have a very structured way, and they all follow each other's way, and there's only one way that suits all. Jade is very, very open. So Jade is a very smart man. He works in very different areas. He does a lot of data collecting as well. So he wouldn't let me prep for less than 20 weeks. He was like, we're doing 20 weeks. I don't give a fuck how fat or how skinny you are.
Yeah.
You should be 1 week out for the show. We're still doing 20 weeks because he wants to be able to, collect as much data as possible, get to know me. Like, that's what he wants.
Yeah, get to know your body.
Yeah, like we started at 3,400 calories. After week 2, we dropped down to about 32, and I haven't dropped my calories since. And I've been dieting for 11 weeks.
Wow, that's good.
Yeah,
Responding well.
so we've only put 2 cardio sessions in of 35 minutes. 5 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago. Um, but same thing with my last prep. Ross at the pro coach, they were all about huge amounts of output, and like where Jake is very like no, like we don't want to put any more fatigue on the body. You're an
Yeah.
athlete. We want to drive all that food into our hands, you know what I mean? So they're very high output. I seemed for both preps. Like my first prep with Ross actually was about 24 weeks actually. And same thing. Like, I remember I was doing like a whole week's worth of cardio, 20 weeks out from
Wow.
yeah, and like saying, I always start in the same position of body fat.
Yeah.
But it was very like brutal, I guess you could say.
Yeah, definitely. Like so early on, it's interesting, like hearing this because it's really like you can kind of see how many coaches are really different. Like some really do approach it from that, especially with cardio. Like some are really like, okay, we're just gonna go ham from day dot and then we'll pull off. Or some are like, we're gonna go ham from day dot to the end. And some are like, yep, no, we're not even gonna touch it, and only if we need to, and it's still gonna be bare minimum. And it's
Yeah,
interesting, you can still kind of get the same results regardless what you do, but I guess it's just every other little detail that's met along the way to kind of help it all.
yeah. And I think probably actually it happened last week. In prep, obviously your mind plays tricks on you as far as where you feel like you are. Like last week, for example, I messaged Jake. I said, I don't feel like I'm, moving enough. Like I'm not driving forward because my weight hasn't moved from like 97 to 99 in fucking 5 weeks, but we've
Mm.
harder. So it's a hard one. It's like I said, my last 2 preps have been, kill or be killed on the cardio machine. And this is so different. I said to Jake, like, mate, like, can we, put the hammer down? Can we throw a spanner in the work somewhere? Like, can we do something? I just feel like I'm sort of,
Not working hard enough.
yeah, but like it's working, And the thing with Jake is like, I've never really had someone say it to me, but he's like, as an athlete, he said, I don't let my athletes make decisions based on emotions.
Yeah.
And that is why you hire me, which I thought was really cool. Where, not saying Ross did this, but a lot of coaches get intimidated by an athlete asking for something more than what they should be having as such.
Mm.
So, for example, like I'm only doing 2 failure sessions. I said to him, "Well, can we throw another one in there?" And he was like, "Why? Like you tell me why." And then I couldn't. You know what I mean? I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah, 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 yeah.
it's like, Sid, we have 8 weeks, mate. You know what I mean? Like, we have so much time. Yeah, we're 8 weeks out actually. I'm not doing Queensland first, so I'm actually doing the Victoria show. So,
Yeah, yeah.
that was a little bit on the low, but it isn't now. So I'm going to do Victoria State show, Queensland State show, and then the Nationals. Um, Obviously, we'll see how we rebound after Victoria show. Obviously, with like hydration and how my body responds to the dehydration and all the food and stuff like that. If we respond great and rebound well, we'll do Queensland as well. And then obviously same thing from there to national. So, but yeah,
'Cause,
so
yeah, I think Victoria's a week off. Queensland's a week after Victoria, and then you get a 2 week, I think, or maybe 3 weeks before nationals.
2 weeks in between both. So
Oh, okay, it is.
yeah, so 2nd of April, 15th of April, and then the 30th.
29th, 30th. Yeah.
So, which is cool. So, but yeah, Jay's very like straight, blunt and honest, which is what I like. I need.
Hmm.
And yeah, I like the fact that he has control of everything. Like and if you feel anyway and you ask him, he'll make you feel like everything's okay. Like
Yeah.
chill out.
That's important.
Yeah, man. And you don't have to look at these athletes that he's brought to stage in the past. You look at Coben, like you look at Jarrah Martin, you brought in as well. Jarrah was his best look he ever had with Jake as his
Yeah,
coach.
yeah, yeah. But
Jake.
even then, like, Coben and Anthony. Yeah.
Yeah. Ruben, who just done WFF over in the
Yeah,
States.
and he won that show.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So he has very, very good backing behind him. And like a lot of people don't know this, but Jake's actually an Olympian.
Really?
Yeah, man. Yeah. So Jake actually is a full men's physique Olympian.
Wow.
Yeah, bro.
I thought he was just I thought he was a WBFF pro. I didn't know he was an
Nah,
Olympian as well.
IFBB, bro.
Wow.
It's pretty old school. Hey,
That's some juicy gossip no one didn't know.
yeah. He's from New Zealand, so Jake used to be IFBB New Zealand pro.
Yeah.
And then compete. I can't remember the years. You have to ask him, but yeah, he's was a full Olympian. Like competed
That's
with Brent
awesome. That's
Henderson.
sick.
Yeah, all the boys. I'm pretty sure he instantly beat Brent Henderson in one of his first shows. So
Wow.
yeah,
But
Jake.
at least you also know he's been there and done that.
Yeah, which is probably the other problem with a lot of coaches is I always say this to people like experience is everything. You know what I mean? Like anyone can sit behind a computer and say, "I'm
Yeah.
coach." You know what I mean? Like I've done it before. I still do a little bit here and there, but like I've done it before. I've got no quals behind, degrees or specializations. It's I feel like experience plays the biggest role in all of it.
Yeah.
Experience with yourself and experience with other athletes. And that's what I mean. Like with Jake, he has so much broad like vision for all these different methods and ways. He's like a scientist in a way, man. Like
Yeah.
just playing with
Cool.
playing with shit. So it's pretty cool, but like everything's not an experiment with him. It's all tested.
Calculated.
Yeah, that's the word.
No, I think it's really cool. Like, especially, another thought that came to my head was with, the 24-week prep. I think it's cool that no matter if you were in a better condition or, depending what your body fat was, that he'd still make you do 21, 24 weeks. I think another reason why that's really good is because it allows you to have enough time to go, okay, we can test a few things, or you know what, we're 8 weeks out. Let's do a mini peak week right now just to see how things are going. Cause you will be early. So then you can play around like that and go, okay, that worked, that didn't work. All right, now do we want to do something like this again? Or, okay, no, we know what works now. We're perfect to hit the mark on show day.
Yeah, no, 100%. Sorry, my dog's now.
That's all right.
No, he's like I said, just calculates data and just goes with what the results are.
Yeah.
We have a 5-day refeed over Australia Day, and we just swelled up like a balloon. You know what I mean? But still stayed super tight. So
Super tight, yeah.
it was cool to see because, like I said, my last show I never got introduced to any carbs. So being somewhat, not saying I'm at stage condition yet, but being relatively lean, having that feeling of just being like wow, I feel fucking good. It's a cool feeling, man. So yeah, it just makes me really excited to come stage, man.
Yeah. And I think, like you were saying, at the beginning, it's like that comeback almost, like, you of how last show went and everything that kind of happened, and what's going on now and how much better you're feeling, how much better you are and prepared earlier on. You're just in a whole different mind state. You're just kind of only going up, even though, things may be getting a bit harder. You
Yeah,
kind of, you got this like gratitude with it.
yeah, man. I think you know it taught me a lot of lessons and also humbled me in my last show as well because it sort of pulled me back a little bit because again,
Mm.
like you have something when you're performer saying, when you're a pro, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do that, and for me, yeah, fully fucking humbled. I was like, whoa, like that shit can happen. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I was like, I think Ben Wilder on the other boys podcast said it the other day about it. It's like people don't understand like social media. I mean, it's fucking nothing. It's like you are judging what is on the day, and you know, what I
Yeah,
mean, like, I sort of come in looking like Chris Bumstead on social media, and then literally just blew it all from the peak
yeah,
and washed out. Yeah, they're not going to give it to you just because you were Chris Bumstead. Like it's yeah. So I think I deserved it, copped it on the chin, and now everything moving forward is exciting because I know I won't do it again. And I'm yeah, man. I think I'll wake up emotional and very very happy to be brought here on the bodybuilding stage come Melbourne in 7 weeks, man. I'm
oh yeah.
very
You're
very.
getting me excited for you, just seeing how
Oh,
excited you are.
mate,
It's like contagious.
I said, I'll be emotional. If I just wake up tight and dry, I'll just be the happiest man alive.
Fuck yeah. That's what you want. That's what you want.
Yeah.
What I guess it's a bit hard to kind of compare, but outside of, what happened last prep, do you know kind of what were the areas, or could you assume what needed to be improved? I guess, did you take judges' feedback outside of, maybe being a bit fuller and that? What was kind of, I guess, what was the goal with Jake in this off season? And okay, what are we wanting to improve, come towards, this prep and this show?
Yeah. So I actually didn't ask for the feedback. Reason being, I knew my feedback. I didn't have to be told that.
Yeah.
To be honest, I didn't want to be told what had to be told. Um, I knew that I knew there was a few factors there. Obviously, one MP, two, the size was there as well. I think as much as Menzies is played off to be a board short, I still do think, size shadows. So, you stand next to a big fella, it's very hard to
Yeah.
hold your own, you know what I mean? So I feel like that density in the delts and like that very good Dorito shaped back and density is very hard to beat in men's physique, regardless of the conditioning. So, if a guy with the density has good conditioning, I think he'll win all day.
Yeah.
Hitting over a guy that's completely peeled out of his brain. If he's small and slimmer body, I think the guy that's bigger with good conditioning,
Yeah.
not far off, but like
Yeah,
really.
I agree. Like after the last show last year, season B, even some of the guys that were really wide and they had that, Dorito shaped back and that, but they were just missing that dense muscle or just that little bit of thickness. And they were getting beaten by those people that maybe not have been as conditioned, but they had that thickness there. So it just kind of, ended up being in their favor.
Yeah, like I think I spoke to a lot of players this year and last year about the New South Wales show, and I actually threw off the guy that won the New South Wales show. He actually went on and won this pro card, but at the New South Wales show, I'm not saying that I didn't want myself to place, to be honest with you, but I didn't think he would have. Maybe third. Like I thought there was two boys there that like mopped the floor.
Yeah.
Um, he was big, but he was a monster and sick symmetry, genetics out of this world. Like he looked a freak and scary, but like he just was. It was like kind of not. Oh, he just wasn't there. Where I
Yeah.
thought a lot of the other boys like Ash at come second at nationals, but he's always a fan favorite of mine. Like, he's a really nice guy, but like always so dry. So conditioned and very full all the time. So I was shocked that he didn't win the New South Wales show back then. But like I said, I think the judges want that. Yeah, I think they want someone that can hop on a pro stage tomorrow.
Yeah, especially with that type of class, because it's just like, when they do bikini too, I feel like they do, it's that category where like you pick a winner that can, okay, we got a pro show on next, you want to jump in, you'll be fine. Like you're not going to be like, oh shit, I need to grow more or whatever.
Which just makes sense. I think every division should be like that. If you're not pro worthy, that you can't step on a stage tomorrow, like you're not pro worthy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you aren't ready. So, and it's hard to say with classic because obviously the weight cap goes up massive, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
So it's but yeah, what was the question? It was something.
What was just, I guess, what was maybe like Jake's opinion, or what were you aiming for, with this off season to kind of bring up what, whether it was more density, was it the wider back, or just, you kind of felt like you had that and you just need to nail the conditioning like for this prep to kind of, get that first place, or, be in that overall for the pro card.
Yeah, yeah. Look, I think density was the biggest thing for me. And it's like just bringing out that width and that density through my back to my torso was a massive, massive thing. I don't think you really even think about conditioning in your off season. Hey,
Yeah.
that's something in your control at a later time. You can't control. You can't control the muscle in prep. Like that's
Yeah.
it's done. It's done. You know what I mean? Like you're either ready for a prep or you're not. You put the size on, you have it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
yeah. So I think density and width was the two biggest things for me this off season. Bringing up my abs a little bit as well, so try and make them a little bit more thicker. Just overall density. I'm just random shit now. But then obviously just focus on come shows.
You feel like you and Jake nailed that, like, because like I said, from what I've seen, what you've posted, I feel like you've got that thickness and density there. It looks like it's come through.
Yeah, yeah. So I wasn't actually with Jake in the off season, sorry. But
Oh, okay.
yeah, sorry. So that was all off my back. No, just but no,
Pat on the back, pat on the back.
yeah, I'll say that one. If anyone was coaching, I'll coach you. But first time probably having a training partner, I think really, really ramped it up. Like they say, training's 10%, nutrition's whatever.
Yeah.
And I think every session we went there, we went to the fucking graveyard. Hey, like we were progressing every session. So my mate that I actually trained with, Angus, he's actually competing.
Oh, okay.
As well. So
Men's physique as well.
Nah, classic. He's a classic boy, man. He's a sleeper. He's got so much potential. Hey, I'm so excited.
That's awesome.
A little bit shy, a little bit quiet on social media. Like one of those little hidden gems. But he's a really nice guy. I think he'll do really well. Hey,
Yeah.
I think he's got really good shape. Really like 3D look. Just now conditioning, now posing, it'll be sweet. Obviously first show, so he'll probably do first time as novice and classic. But yeah, he's got a sleeper physique on him, bro.
Oh yeah, that's exciting. That's exciting.
He's on my toes. I love it.
Right, well, everybody better keep their eye out for him.
Yeah, English fauna. But yeah, no. So we train every day, pretty much, off season. To be honest, my food was pretty like my nutrition this off season was pretty dialed. Like it was a heavier surplus, but it was clean food.
Yeah.
Obviously, I ate my Guzmans when I wanted my Guzmans. But it was pretty fucking clean. Man. It was the first prep of off season where I've legitimately put the hammer down and gone, I want to fucking grow.
Yeah.
I agree. So.
What's really cool hearing that, like, and it's funny that you said about going to the graveyard with your training partner. It whether you realize or not, it kind of sounds like what happened with that last show and kind of those feelings and everything that happened, I think it left a mark, and it made you go, you know what, fuck this is never happening again. I'm going to bring my A game. So you were able to hit nutrition 100%, even though you got a bit more fat, you still were a bit relaxed with that balance, but you still were eating clean food instead of having junk all the time. And then, I was talking to Jaden about this today, actually, and, we've talked about in the group podcast quite a bit too. It's like, I think, outside of all the bullshit to do with optimal training, this, that. There's so many ways to skin a cat, but I think the one thing that is consistent in all those, whatever you want to call it, is intensity. If you can bring that intensity, that's that consistency, I reckon. And I think, having a training partner, like you're saying, and every session going to the graveyard, that's that intensity, and you're meeting it. So you're both getting your nutrition and you're training at that 100%, and reaping what you sow.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it's anyone that knows me from hometown and stuff. Never, I set my own standards very fucking high, and if I don't meet them, I'm very, very, upset with myself.
Yeah.
I've been an athlete all my life. I've sprinter, swimmer, touch football. I've done it all. I've been there as an athlete. So I've always got this very competitiveness about me, and not necessarily competitive with other people, competitive with myself. And like I said, if I'm not progressing, but as an individual, I'm a nobody to myself.
Yeah.
To embarrass myself like I did last year, you could say I think about that way too much, and I see it way too much. I vision it so much to the point where like I want to morph you, like just where people just don't even know who I am. Like people don't even know who I am yet. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. But it's like left that chip on your shoulder and you're ready to like let go of
Yeah,
it this show.
yeah. I want to be backstage and people go, "Whoa, whoa,
Fuck yeah.
where the fuck did this guy come from?" You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
people recognize me from Sydney and go, "Oh, what the fuck? He looked like a swimmer last year."
Yeah. What's this? Oh my God.
Which is what we will probably look like in my photos too, because hopefully we are carved up and 8 to 10 kilos heavier. But we have to remember, I didn't build 8 to 10 kilos of muscle like in the off season. It's just that I was completely depleted, no carbohydrates,
Yeah.
sitting full as a fucking house and dice. So that's what we're aiming for anyway. So, but yeah, no, training, man, it's cool. We message each other pretty much every day. Like, I'll see you at 5:30. Like, we're training this. Like,
Oh yeah.
just cheer each other up, man. It's well past area to the graveyard every session.
And it's good because he's competing too, like you said. So, you're also helping him in that manner as well.
He's put on probably about 10 kilos of muscle in the
Oof.
last 8 months. So he's a first timer to everything. So he's a sleeper, bro. He's a sleeper. Trust me.
I'm excited. I'm excited. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, you started freezing, so I wasn't too sure if you were mid saying something or what was going on.
Yeah, you both as well. Sorry.
Oh, that's all good. That's all good.
Yeah, all good.
Anyway, well, last question to wrap things up. I guess is there anything? No. Fuck that question. I'll ask a different one.
Come on, mate. Finish it on a good one.
Is there anybody, I guess, to try and bring some excitement? Because I feel like you said, men's physique, I guess, doesn't, it's that, pussy boy shit. It's the board shorts, it's the bikini of the men's divisions.
Yeah.
So to kind of get rid of that stigma, and bring some excitement. Is there anyone that, you've seen that's competing that, not necessarily call out, but you're excited to kind of step on stage and hopefully you can bring a really good battle with them? Like, is there anybody that, if you can name a few names, is there anyone or just someone that you're excited to kind of get the opportunity to step next to again, who may have competed back when you did?
Oh.
Don't worry, like you're not shooting shots. Don't worry. No shots getting shot here, but
I'll call it everyone. I don't care.
still the whole division.
Yeah. Alex from Gold Coast.
Yeah. He's good, man. He's good. Is he doing season A?
Nah, his first off season, bro. So
Yeah.
he's probably one of the most competitive people ticked off. But yeah, he's Alex is a cool dude, man.
Yeah.
Complete package.
He owns that Queensland stage show for men's physique. I tell you what.
I'm coming for it. But yeah, no, Alex, Ash from Sydney. Like, I love Ash too.
Yeah.
I just enjoy looking at their physiques. I think I can appreciate that as a men's physique guy. Like, I really appreciate Alex's physique. I think Ash also has a really good physique. There's another fella, Kyle from I think he's in South Australia. I think he's a South Australian champ. I'm not sure. But I haven't actually conversed him yet. But he, from social media and stuff, has a wicked physique as well.
Mm-hmm.
Really good taper. Honestly, like I wouldn't say that is it, but like that's all I can sort of think of off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Yeah, those three boys I think are probably the most appealing to me as far as I think they are the next pros, or the most competitive in the division.
Yeah, like up in that ladder of,
Yeah,
possibly getting their pro card soon.
yeah. Like if I was a judge judging, those three boys would be in my mind like straight to the top call-outs. Going off what they've presented last year. So, but yeah, Alex is probably my top dog. I think he's a really good guy. Really, he's done. I think I was second at nationals like 2 years ago, maybe.
Yeah.
He's come close every year. He's always in top call-outs, always in top three, and it's consistent. His Alex and me are very similar. Hey, have you seen photos of his face lately?
Yeah.
He eats so much food like me post show, like we both just blow out, and just fucking become monsters.
Well, it'll be good. Like, if things work out how you and Jake plan, you kind of hopefully will get that name out there in that division now, and then it'll get the boys like Alex, like Ash, and that excited. Hopefully, maybe one season get you all on stage together and have you guys compared.
Yeah, man, it'd be sick. Like, exactly what I said to you before. Like, you can look as good as you want by yourself, but once you stand up there against and actually are being compared, it's a whole different fucking
Different ball game, different ball game.
such a different ball game. And that's what people understand with like, fan favorites and all that sort of shit. I hate that. I love being able to see like a good caliber of athletes and being able to go like, yeah, that's sick.
Fuck yeah.
That's what we want. Like
That's what makes it fun for the fans to go watch the show.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's cool. I'm very excited. So I think Kyle's competing.
Mm-hmm.
I think both Ash and Alex like having the year.
Yeah.
They've both done back-to-back shows for fucking years. So
Yeah.
not that they need it. They're both at the top of the level, but they're I mean
ready to put on that size to be like, okay, give me my pro card now.
Yeah, like they come back and see our statement. I thought already, at the top of the ladder, like one or fucking jump off it. You know what I mean? So, they're very good physiques, man. And very good athletes. I haven't met Kyle yet, so it'd be nice to meet.
Exciting.
There's one guy in Melbourne that I'll be up against. I've seen tag and TV and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't actually know his name. I think he won last year, maybe. Or come second last year.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a pretty good physique. But like I said, I don't know him. I don't tend to go searching or looking. It just I have no reason to. Like this year's all about being competitive.
Yeah.
And waking up feeling dry, feeling complete,
Just being happy with what you're bringing, and then let the physique speak for itself.
Yeah.
That's the best way to do it, really.
Yeah. I'll never win, but I'm also there winning for myself, and I'll be competitive with myself for sure.
Oh yeah.
Whole different Sid this time. I'm excited, then. So are you gonna compete or?
Me? Yeah, eventually. I need to put on a lot more size. I can't do juniors anymore, and I want to be a bodybuilder. Like I want to be an opens boy. So got a lot of size to put on, but we're finally. It's taken a little bit, but I'm finally at a good, I guess, foundation starter. Like I'm still natty, so I've kind of, I guess, on the right track to get ready to kind of let's level up now and get ready to step on stage. So hopefully, maybe I've been looking at maybe 2024. So we'll see.
Yeah, it's funny to say about juniors. Actually, I actually mentioned it. Jade said, "Should I do juniors this year, season 8?" It's not like I don't have legs. It just things lack that I don't detail. So my hand.
Yeah, and it's just that thing that like. It's hard though, like it's interesting. You could still pull out with a third or second place because even though you may lack the detail in the hamstring, but if you've got a decent, a solid condition. You've got the size in the upper body. You know, you may lack maybe thickness in the legs, but if they're still peeled in that, you could still like just outsize someone.
Yeah,
So it could just be fun, but whatever, like you said, got to do what you want to do.
yeah. The hardest thing with that is when I spoke to Jake about that is peaking for like. Have you ever had a pump in the gym and then like got stuff talking to someone and then going
Yeah.
fuck this, oh I feel like shit. It's the same sort of thing when you're off stage. You then again haven't collected data to going from full pump to full cold to full pump.
Yeah.
And at that stage of time, like cortisol's through the roof, like you're trying to keep that elevated, all these water retentive things that can come into play that might actually wash out the physique for the main division. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So it's at the end of the
It's
day.
funny that you say that. Because Cam Withers, he did that. Like he did juniors, uh, at his state show, and they reckon it actually kind of affected him when he did his main classic. He ended up, like you're saying, he was kind of on for juniors, and then he just wasn't able to get the exact same look because he kind of like flattened out a bit and couldn't make it back. So then when nationals came, everyone was expecting him to do juniors, but he didn't want to go through the same thing again, so he just stuck to the his actual class.
Yeah, yeah, it happens all the time, and it's yeah, even WFF, like a morning and a night show, I think it's fucking
Yeah.
stupid. But especially as an amateur, I understand the show, but it's very hard to pump up, present, flatten, refill, and then go again. Like
And it,
there's a very fine mark where you have to hit, otherwise you can completely destroy yourself. Where
yeah.
you're flat or you overspill. Like
And the other thing to that is like, for example, yourself, you'd be doing like juniors the first thing, but then you got to wait ages till men's physique, where it's a bit different. I think if you do juniors and then you're all of a sudden, okay, you're coming out in under 80s or you're coming out in under 90s, like you're only like, maybe 5 or 10 minutes away. So you can kind of keep that pump a little bit still going.
yeah,
Where when you do it and then you got to wait a whole division, 2 divisions, then you can, yeah, you get a bit fucked.
yeah, it's I didn't really consider it when I spoke to Jake about it, and when he made me aware of it, I was like, yeah, fuck
Yeah.
it.
Maybe in the future when you
Yeah,
get more data collected.
yeah. Now we'll just head down to men's physique and there, and yeah, it'll be cool. It'll be cool.
No, well, thank you so much for jumping on and joining me, bro. It's been a pleasure talking to you. I'm really excited. You've
Yeah.
got me excited. I hope you've got everybody else excited watching for you to like kind of redeem yourself and really bring that good look that kind of, I guess, get your name out there, and put you up in that. I think, like I said, I recommend everyone to go down. If you're not following you, like check on the bio link in the bio in the comments, check your page, and like I reckon you're gonna bring a good game, good show day. So I'm excited, man.
Yeah, and I will. Yeah, we're very excited, man. It's a cool process to be a part of. So 7 weeks. I think I see Jake on Sunday actually. So who knows what's in store?
Oh yeah, gonna be
It's
good.
yeah, it's
Oh
always
man, looking forward to it.
happy days, man. Rinse and repeat.
That's right. That's the title. Rinse and repeat. I love it.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. All right. Have a good rest of the night, man. Thank
Yeah,
you.
appreciate it. Nice
Cheers,
meeting
bro.
you.
See you, man.